to the channel. I'm back to break down this Week 7 Monday Night Football NFL DFS Showdown slate on Draftkings and Fanduel. This one expected to be somewhat of a sloppy game, so will be interesting to talk about some game strategy. We'll get through it, although it's going to be sloppy. There's always an edge to be had. We're going to dig into the numbers, figure out the top plays so we can get you guys in that money. As always, quick reminder, if you do enjoy the content at any point in this video, if you could please take a moment to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future content that I upload. That would be greatly appreciated. This video is sponsored by PrizePicks. Sign up today using promo code KJK DFS to receive a 100% deposit match when you deposit up to $100 on PrizePicks. And if you are getting very serious about NFL DFS, really wanting to become a very profitable NFL DFS player, I would highly recommend my NFL DFS premium package. That's linked below in the description. Get access to all of that. I've also just launched an all sports package. If you are playing NFL DFS and NBA DFS and you want the both, you can now get that at a discounted price. So check that out. With all that being said, let's go to start breaking down this showdown slate for this Monday Night Football game. So as mentioned, this game is expected to be somewhat sloppy. It's going to be a slow total. We're also dealing with some weather concerns. It's expected to be very windy and very rainy, just not pretty weather here. It's a 42 over under, 4.5 point spread in favor of the New Orleans Saints. And so I just want to put a little bit of a disclaimer out there. I will say I think this game script is going to favor the running backs pretty heavily here, and it's all going to start with Mr. Alvin Kamara. I mean, he's by far the top play on this slate for me. It's kind of obvious. I mean, he's the most priced up guy on the slate as far as his volume overall. Looking at some of his statistics on the season, he has 60.26% of his team's overall rushes with 19.82% of the team's overall target share. So 90% of the team's targets are going his way, 60% of the rushes are going his way. We know what Alvin Kamara is capable of, and then as far as his total matchup here, taking on this Seattle squad, he doesn't exactly have the best matchup from an offensive line aspect compared to the defensive line aspect. Both of these teams really don't have the best matchup from a running aspect, though, in this game. So something's got to give. It's only one game. And lastly, I mean, Seattle's run defense and defense overall has been much less impressive than has the New Orleans Saints side. So Alvin Kamara definitely going to be, a top priority for me on this slate. And then as far as anywhere else we're going, on the New Orleans side, now we do have news that Deontay Harris is going to miss this one. So I do think that's going to obviously open up some usage here, and I think the guy that we're going to be wanting to be looking at is priced at a pretty friendly discount over here on DraftKings. And that guy is going to be Kenny Stills. 2,400 if you play him in the captain spot. He's 1,600 if you play him in the flex spot. And last time out, 5 targets, 2 receptions, 3.8 DraftKings points. Nothing really too crazy, but this is the guy that should be able to open up some more targets headed his way, and the guy that's really too cheap on DraftKings if you need to go to some salary that I'd be looking to. So he's the guy that's popping out to me right away. Of course, Jameis Winston, Geno Smith, the two quarterbacks are always going to be playing a showdown slate. I'm just really not liking the way this game is scripting out for either side, really. With the weather and all that stuff, I will say that I think I would greatly prefer to be targeting the Jameis side of things from throwing against the Seattle secondary versus targeting Geno and having to throw against this New Orleans secondary, although Geno Smith does have some pretty good targets. I do think I'll lean Jameis Winston, I will say that, and we do know that Alvin Kamara is capable of catching passes out of the backfield, so if Jameis Winston is going to be slinging underneath to Alvin Kamara, you kind of get that correlation here. And while, it's not exactly expected to be the highest scoring game, like as mentioned, someone's got to score, and Jameis Winston, I'm sure the quarterback will be one of the highest scoring guys on the slate because that just tends to be the way these showdown slates go and the way fantasy is nowadays. It's a QB game. As far as Mr. Jameis Winston and his ability to run, I always like to mention that because these QBs, of course, we're always looking to target guys with upside. He does possess 12.82% of his team's overall runs, which isn't exactly terrible for a QB. So Jameis Winston probably going to be my preference as far as the game script and everything, with this game being a 4.5 total in favor. I'm sorry, a 4.5 spread in favor of the New Orleans Saints. Obviously, they're expected to get up, so Geno's going to have to throw from behind. So keep that in mind. If you want to target some of these Seattle wide receivers, obviously I'm not going to call you crazy. DK Metcalf and Mr. Tyler Lockett are going to account for pretty much all the targets in the Seattle offense. That's the good thing that we know about this offense, and when they're expected to play from behind, although I don't exactly love the spot from them from a matchup aspect, from a volume aspect, it should be beautiful. I mean, looking at the overall target share that these guys possess in their offense, it's really just these two guys. A 27.27% overall target share for DK Metcalf, a 25.45% overall target share for Tyler Lockett. And for that reason, I'm going to have interest. I think I have a lot of interest in DK Metcalf, particularly, is they're expecting to be going down on this field. He's a downhill burner. His physical stature makes him a mismatch for really any matchup. So for that reason, I think I'm going to have more so interest in DK Metcalf here. And then we're looking at his overall matchup rating. He does have a 75 matchup rating, which isn't terrible. And Tyler Lockett shortly behind him with a 64.8% matchup rating in this matchup. So, yeah. I like these guys with the volume aspect. The matchup I'm not really too high on, and the weather is making me a little bit concerned about the ability for these teams to really move the ball down the field as far as through the air. So I do think there's some validity to building lineups around these defenses and kickers and that kind of thing, and just building around a low-scoring game, because I'm not seeing that this game is going to be a real shootout. So that's kind of my hunch and approach to this slate as far as like the guys that really align with that game script and the guys that are going to grade out well in my projections. We already talked about Alvin Kamara, so he's number one. DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett are grading out as great plays. On the Seattle side, the run game's not exactly getting me all too excited either. We've seen Alex Collins really dominate the touches when he's been filling in here, but Chris Carson still sidelined, but now we do have someone else that's going to be mixing in here with Rashad Penny. So I'm not getting all that excited about Alex Collins either is the thing. He's all the way up to, let's see, 7-4 in the flex spot. And it's like, I see his volume. I do think his volume is going to get cut into here pretty significantly. And Rashad Penny is priced here at a pretty friendly discount, but I'm a little worried that he's going to be somewhat limited. So it's kind of like a lose-lose. I mean, Rashad Penny at his respective price tag, as far as how he's grading out for me, I do think he's still a decent play here. And, you know, it's a price tag thing, but realistically, for him to really get you there, I would say he's probably going to have to run one in the end zone, because I don't really know if he's going to get the full volume. It'll be interesting to see if we get any more news on that. We'll definitely be monitoring that up into the game. And as far as any news, he's missing practice time with Alex Collins is missing practice time with a groin injury. Penny, DJ Dallas, and Homer as options possibly. And then you have to actually factor in that DJ Dallas and Travis Homer are still going to be in there too. So I don't know. This running back situation is something to monitor for sure. And I'm not getting too excited about any of these guys. And like I said, I think I'm going to be building kind of more of a defensive approach. On Fanduel, you can't do that. You have to be playing, just strictly offense. So we'll talk about that. We're going to do some lineup building here. We'll talk about Draftkings before I let you guys go, so you can get a clear vision of what I'm looking to. I just want to make sure I get these values clear to you guys. As far as like my top values that I really be looking to, I mean, Kenny Stills, we talked about him. He's definitely very clearly someone I'd be looking to. I think the tight ends on the Saints are interesting for value here. But which one do we go to is the next question I guess you could ask yourself, because even that's been a little bit inconsistent here as far as the overall targets for the New Orleans side. We have Juwan Johnson, but we also have Adam Trotman, and honestly, he's grading out as a decent play for me here in comparison to Juwan Johnson. Both of these guys, I think, could be reasonable plays. We don't really know which one of them it's going to, though, seems to be the issue. So, both of them. And then from a salary aspect as well, we could definitely be playing some Freddie Swain down here at 2K. He's usually out there. He's out there for about 65% of his team's overall snaps, 3 to 4 targets a game. Nothing too crazy, but in a showdown slate, if you need some salary relief, Freddie Swain's another guy you could be looking to in this one. And then lastly, we could be looking to do some Colby Parkinson as well. Not getting too excited about him. He's not on the field that much. I mean, let's be realistic. He is still behind Will Dissly for targets as well as Gerald Everett. So it's like, do we really feel comfortable going there? Not really. So Traquan Smith possibly could return here. I'm not seeing that he's expected to be in, but he's someone to keep an eye on off the IR. He was designated to return Tuesday. So keep an eye on him. I don't expect him to be back in this one, honestly. But I might be wrong. I'm missing some news on that one. Keep an eye on that. And let's go ahead and start building a lineup here because that's what you're here for. You want to see some of this advice come together. Like I said, I think this is going to be a sloppy game. I like Alvin Kamara the most by far. I think it's going to be a priority for me to get him in the captain spot. I like pairing him up with Jameis Winston because I do think that they can throw it underneath. As mentioned from a salary relief aspect, I think that Kenny Stills is a tremendous option on the slate this week, so he's an obvious plug-and-play for me. As far as anyone else down here, we talked about these options not being... I mean, Marcus Callaway, I should say, is the clear number one option in the Saints offense from a wide receiver aspect. He really hasn't had the greatest of games until last week, though, where he exploded on the scene for 8 targets, his 49-yard catch being along with 2 touchdowns. Now, I think the weather's going to be impacting this a little bit in this game. And I also think that Alvin Kamara is going to get a lot of volume. So I don't want to skip over him. I like him. I just think that the way the game script's going and the way I'm looking to play this game, I'm not too excited. So we have a full stack here pretty much of the Saints side. So I would say it makes sense to go ahead and toss in the Saints defense here. Maybe really hope that they lock them down. And then as far as the Seattle side playing from behind, probably would make sense to play one of the wide receivers, maybe a Tyler Lockett at 9K. That leaves us with about 2.6, and we could even fit in a Rashad Penny, who we mentioned would be a good salary option. So I think that's a decent lineup. Maybe a Freddie Swain as well, though, because they're going to be playing from behind this game. They need those passing yards. So that's kind of a build that I'd be looking at there. Something similar to that. And then over on Fanduel, it's obviously a little bit different. Like I said, the top scorer has to be in your MVP slot. I think it's going to be Alvin Kamara for me. I really do like him as a top scorer here. And then it gets pretty easy on FanDuel. I mean, you're just looking for the top scorers. We could probably even play DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett over here. Relatively easy. Marcus Callaway, yeah, that still leaves us 8-5 on the table. Like, it's too easy over here on FanDuel. I mean, especially I think these low price guys. Let's see, where's Kenny Stills' price? Kenny Stills all the way down to 5.5. I mean, that's just gonna make it pretty easy to fit in anyone and everyone you want. 13.5. That doesn't leave us quite enough for Geno, so we can't quite get up to the quarterback here. But if we want to go down to someone, typically on FanDuel, you really want to get at least one quarterback in your lineups, and we're correlating here. So let's do with Jameis, and then go down from DK to Marquez Callaway. There's a good lineup for you right there. An example of something you could be building. And that'd be my approach for this Monday Night Football Showdown slate. Those are my picks, my overall look here. Wish you guys the best of luck. Quick reminder, if you did enjoy the content, before you head out, if you could please leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future content that I upload. Check out my premium packages, link below in the description. And yeah, guys, probably not going to be the most exciting Monday Night Football game, but hopefully we can win some money off it. Wish you guys the best of luck, and we will see you in the next one.